everybody. Hey everybody, this is Bernetta here from Bernetta Style. I am here about to share with you my African Ancestry results. If you remember back in February, I took the test and I got my results in the mail on Saturday. So I am going to go over my results with Gina. Hey Gina. She is the owner of African Ancestry, and she's going to come on. Let me see, 1 second. Okay. So I'm going to add Gina. 1 second.
I did it. Hey, happy Mother's Day.
Hey, we did it. What I'm doing now is I'm sharing this on my personal page too at the same time.
Okay.
So if anybody is watching there, they can see it live too if they want to comment. So I'm sharing it to my personal page from my computer. It's coming. Here it is right here. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina today for Mother's Day.
What are you doing there?
Well, we have a partnership with a church here, the Park Church, and we revealed their pastor and first lady this morning during the Mother's Day service. And then we're coming back in June 15th to do a big African Ancestry workshop with the whole Charlotte community. Everyone's welcome, and encouraging people to take our test in advance of the R400 Summit, which is happening here in Charlotte in September. And Bernetta, let me tell you, I'm hoping that we have the world's largest reveal of African ancestries in Charlotte in September at this conference. It's an amazing conference where it's all about reconnecting to Africa and then rebuilding. So that's why I'm here.
So that sounds so exciting. I know you're excited about that. Now let's tell them before I have my results too. I didn't open it. Remember you told me don't open it. So I didn't open it. But I want you to tell them, like, what is African Ancestry and why is it different? Of course, we see the commercials, we see the competitors. So what is African Ancestry and what makes it different from the competitors?
At African Ancestry, we are the pioneers. That means we were the first of genetic ancestry tracing for Black people. And our mission is to help Black people transform the way we view ourselves and the way we view Africa. And we do that through DNA. So Bernetta, as you know, as Black people, we're the original victims of identity theft. And that's when we were taken from the shores of West and Central Africa and brought here to the Americas. We lost absolutely everything. Our names, we don't know our original family names. We don't know our original languages. We don't even know where our families are here or in the Caribbean because we were sold and scattered all over the place. So we use DNA to tell you where your people are from before Florida, before North Carolina, before Haiti or Jamaica. And so that's what we do with a DNA test, a swab test that you took. It's easy, it's painless, it's no blood.
It was very easy, very easy.
And so
Tanya said she's glad she caught the post, excited to see it. Me too. Me too. We'll do it in 1 second. I just want to give y'all a little more information.
Now, so there are other tests out there. So like you said, Ancestry, 23andMe, but they're completely different. So what they do is they compare you to, well, what happens? Let me take a step back. So what happens is we take a person's DNA. So we took your DNA and then we compare it to DNA from people all over the world. You're interested in Africa. You're interested in where you're from in Africa. So we compare, and all the companies compare your DNA to DNA samples from Africans. If you go to 23andMe, they compare your DNA to the DNA from 621 Africans. And they tell you only 621. And they'll say you are some percentage sub-Saharan African or East African or South African, whatever it is. If you go to ancestrydna.com, they'll compare your DNA to 1,395 DNA samples from Africans. So then they'll tell you that you're from some percentage of you comes from some region in Africa. When you sent your DNA to us, we compared it to over 33,000 African DNA samples from 40 countries and 400 ethnic groups or tribes. So what we're going to tell you today is the present day country and the people in Africa that you come from. That's how we're different. And our lab destroyed your DNA. We don't have your DNA anymore.
Okay, so that's another question. Yeah. When I posted the first time, you know, everybody was excited, but that was another question. What do they do with my DNA? So what does African Ancestry do with the DNA that you get?
Our lab destroys the DNA once a result is determined. We don't sell, share, or research our customers' DNA.
Awesome. And the other ones?
They do. They sell, share, research, all of that.
Okay. And African Ancestry is 100% Black owned. Am I correct?
You are correct. I co-founded the company with a Black geneticist, Dr. Rick Kittles.
Okay. All right. And one more question. Well, I got a couple questions because I know you all are ready to see, but I just want to get you this information first. Now tell them what test that I took, because I told my mom and grandmother to watch. I don't know if they're watching, but but I took the maternal test. So if you're a woman, you have to take the maternal test, which tests your mother, correct?
You got it. So your results will, men and women can both take that test. Do you have any brothers and sisters, Bernetta?
I have two brothers. Well, I have three brothers, but two by my mom.
Okay, two by your mom. So all of you, any of you could have taken the test. The results will be the same for them, your children, their children, your mother, your aunts, your uncles, your cousins, your grandmother, her brothers and sisters, their kids, everybody in your family that comes from your grandmother's mother is going to share these results that we're about to find out.
And the paternal side, because I have a brother with my father, so if I wanted to learn anything about my father's line, I would have to have my brother take the paternal kit, right?
Right. So your brother can trace your father's 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 line, or your dad. Any male relative on that side can take that test for you.
Okay. All right. See, are you ready? Are you ready?
I'm ready. Are you ready?
Should I open it? Do you have my results too in front of you too?
I know what they are. Yeah.
Oh, you know what they are? Okay. So
I don't know how you want to do it. You open it, and then I'll tell you about the people.
Yes. Okay, here we go. So
we need a drum roll.
I got it Saturday, and I was screaming at the mailbox when I seen it. I know my neighbors was peeking out their blinds like, what is going on? Why is she jumping up and down outside? Okay. So I got my African Ancestry. Now, what should I open? Which envelope?
Open the one with the triangle. The one with the triangle on it, because the other one is for your mom and your grandmom, I think is who we did it for.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. I'll put that right there. All right, guys.
Do you have any ideas about what's gonna be in there? Do you have any ideas where you're from?
Yeah, well, I don't. Well, this is why I'm nervous, because my grandmother always says her mom was 100% Indian. My grandmother's mother died when she was 2. So everything she knows about her, and her dad died when she was 4. So she's the youngest of 7. Everything she learned from her older sisters. So, you know, I don't know. I always was like, well, I'm Indian. You know, I'm Indian and I'm Black. So I don't know. We'll see.
Okay.
So we'll see. That's why I told my grandmother, watch, grandma, just watch, okay? All right, so you ready? Somebody said drum roll, exciting. All right. Oh, it says, Bernetta Nyson, you are from the Fula people living in Guinea-Bissau. I am from the Fula people living in
Congratulations.
Can you tell me a little bit about the Fula people? Because I have seen you do these before online with Breakfast Club and other people, but I haven't heard the Fula people.
Yeah. So This is interesting. The Fula people are also known as the Fulani. So the
Okay.
Fulani people are a large group of people are found in several countries in Africa because they're nomads. They're pastoralists. So they herd their cattle from place to place. Historically, that's how they moved. And because we have so many samples in the base, Bernetta, from Africa, we know when you share ancestry with Fulani who are in, or Fula who are in Guinea-Bissau versus those who are in Senegal or in Mali or in Nigeria or wherever. So your people today are found in Guinea-Bissau, and that's a tiny country on the west coast of Africa. It's bordered by Guinea. It's half a country away from Senegal. It's also bordered by Mali, and and it's like half a country away from Sierra Leone. So those are the neighboring countries, and they say that in Guinea-Bissau they were colonized by the Portuguese, the country of Guinea-Bissau. So it's a very small, and unfortunately, it's a poor country today, but that doesn't mean anything. The people are amazing. The people are rich in spirit. And while we don't have an embassy here, we don't have an embassy for Guinea-Bissau here in the United States, there is a presence in the United Nations. And I want to put you in touch actually with one of your cousins. He's from the Balanta, not the Fula, but he just traveled to Guinea-Bissau last year. And so he can share with you a wealth of information about the people and the texture of the culture. And I haven't been there. I'd rather him tell you because he lived there for a couple of weeks. But anyway, so they were colonized by the Portuguese, and they didn't gain their independence until the 1970s, which is pretty late for most African countries were able to gain their independence in the 1960s. Ground nuts and cashews, those types of nuts are a major export of Guinea-Bissau. What else can I tell you? The Fula people. So they say that the Fula people are the most beautiful women in Africa. That's what they tell me. So my ancestry is Fulani in Nigeria. So we're cousins in the same ethnic group, just different countries. And you can learn so much about them. They have a beautiful tradition of body adornment. The women do, and some of the men too, of body adornment. And I know you've seen these brass earrings. I don't have any with me here in Charlotte, but I know you've seen the African earrings that are brass and they're kind of twisted. Those are Fulani earrings. So you can look those up. And they say that a husband gives his bride the earrings for marriage, and the wealthier the husband, the larger the earrings. So I'm expecting that your husband is going to have to get you some Fulani earrings because he married a beautiful Fula woman. You have some famous cousins. So we traced India Irie to the Fula people living in Guinea-Bissau. We also traced Common to the Fula people living in Guinea-Bissau.
I met Common one time, and he called me a pretty girl. He did. I met him in Chicago one time, and I always felt a connection. But that's really cool. Who else?
those are the only two so far that we've traced to the Fula people in Guinea-Bissau. There's some other people we've traced to Guinea-Bissau, like Roland Martin, the newscaster Roland Martin. He's from Guinea-Bissau too. Charlemagne, you said you saw. Did you mention that? Didn't you? The Breakfast Club.
I watch the Breakfast Club all the time, and I saw I saw when you did their reveal too.
Yep, we traced him and DJ Envy to Guinea-Bissau. So it's a country that comes up fairly often. The countries that we find the most often are Cameroon, Nigeria, Senegal, and then I would say Guinea-Bissau is about 4th or 5th in terms of frequency.
Well, I want to thank you. I'm definitely going to do some more research. It feels good to at least have a starting point, you know what I mean, to know and now to research even more. And I can't wait to talk to my mother and my grandmother about it, to see what, what she has to say and just tell them some of the research that I found. It could answer a lot of questions, like you say, whatever we can find, especially the earrings, because I love earrings. I mean, these ain't the Fulani, but they big and brass, and I wear stuff like this all the time. So I know that you were offering a discount for anybody that wanted to get an African ancestry. Can I tell them about the
Yes,
discount?
yes, please
Okay.
do. We did it
If
especially
you
for your viewers.
The discount is if you order an African ancestry maternal kit or paternal, you get 20% off, right?
10%,
20%
10%,
10%,
10%.
10%, 10%. Don't want to give too much. You use the code Bernetta, my name, Bernetta, and you'll get the 10% off, and you'll get 2 certificates for 2 people in your family, and that's what is it? Okay. That's what this envelope is for. So one will have my mom's name on it, and the other my grandmother, so and with the Guinea-Bissau on it, so they can have the results too in their own certificate where they're from. So if you want to get the test 10% off, use my name, Bernetta, and you'll get the percentage off and the 2 extra certificates for 2 family members. Right?
I'm excited to see how this information influences you, Bernetta. I mean, we know your Bernetta style, and now you can kind of flex your style to fit what you learn about your mothers that came before you. And I wanted to actually point out too, because I know your grandmother has this family history that her mother was 100% Native American. So
Right.
her mother was not 100% Native American.
Mhm.
Her mother and her mother and her mother were African women.
Mhm.
However, one of the men
Mhm.
could have been Native American. I mean,
Okay.
your
Yeah.
grandmother, your great grandfather's mother could have been in Native American, or
Uh-huh.
your great grandmother's father could have been Native American. We only looked at this one branch of your family tree. So we're just
Okay.
telling you one part of who you are. But the exciting part is that that's the same DNA. It
Yeah.
didn't change. So that
Right.
means, Bernetta, that you're the descendant of a woman who made it through the past 400 years here in the United
Mhm.
States, and then made it across the Middle Passage. And half
Mhm.
of the 20 million enslaved Africans that came across that Middle Passage didn't make it.
Wow.
So you and your children and their children and their children all come from people who survived and who
Mhm.
thrived, not just
Yeah.
survived, but thrived. And so I'm excited that you'll be able to hopefully incorporate
Mhm.
some of your Fulani ancestry into your lifestyle now.
I sure will. Now, Tanya, who has been on this call since the beginning, she said so it's a three-fer, and I guess she's talking about the offer: 1 test and 3 results for family members. Really, it's just 1 result because it's the same result, especially if you
Right.
pick your mom. But any woman, on your side that comes from your grandmother's line, it's the same. They just get an additional certificate that they get to have to know where they're from. So,
Exactly.
yeah. So, before I let you go, I wanted to ask you, who has been your most exciting find?
Ooh, my most exciting find. You know, I have to say, do you know the jazz singer Dee Dee Bridgewater?
No, I'm
Okay.
sorry.
So Dee Dee Bridgewater, well, you should know her. She's a jazz legend. And
Okay.
we actually traced her to the Fulani people of
Okay.
Nigeria. But she's a
Okay.
jazz legend. And she's been doing, she loves Mali, the country of Mali. And she even did
Mhm.
a whole CD on music of Mali. So she was
Mhm.
really hoping that her ancestry would be from Mali. And we did a reveal for her at the Blue Note jazz club in New York City with these wonderful musicians. And when I told her Fulani, she just exploded. She was like, Fulani, Fulani. And it was just so powerful. While the Fulani that we found her directly connected to are in Nigeria, there is also a very large Fulani population in Mali. And so that was one of the more exciting ones, just from her reaction. Like, she just, it was great. But there's so many, like, how can you really have a favorite? Can't really have a favorite.
That's true, because you have tested a lot of people, and more to come, and more to come. So
and now
I
we can add you to our list.
Yes.
So thank you.
And I'm part of the African Ancestry family now.
Yes.
And I'm going to thank you for, just letting me be a part of this family and like take this test. I'm also going to put the results on my blog. I'm going to put this video on my blog for anybody that want to see it in the future. And I'm just excited. Get your test. Find out where you're from. I mean, I think it can answer questions because, like she said, we don't know where we're from past. Like Tanya said, I don't know where I'm from past Baltimore, and I definitely didn't know where I'm from past Chicago. I know my grandmother, and then I knew my dad's mom before she passed, and that's it. I don't know past my grandmother. Which is very sad, very, very sad. And many times I've sat like, who am I? And I just think just couldn't answer the question.
It did.
Thank you, Gina.
Bernetta, you are so welcome, and thank you for letting me participate. Because thousands and thousands of people, I never get to tell them the results firsthand. So I appreciate you allowing me to give you this gift on Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to you.
The first thing I do when I get off the phone is call my grandmother and my mom, because they're on Facebook, and I'm surprised if they were on here, they would have commented. So I'm going to tell them when I get off this call, go check it out.
Oh, let me tell you one more thing. So we also have an online community. So go into the African Ancestry online community. It's just for people who've taken our test. And that's where you can share information and resources with other people who we've traced to Guinea-Bissau, who we've traced to the Fulani or the Fula people. And I'm definitely going to connect you with Eddie Meek, who was in Guinea-Bissau last year, okay?
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. In the Facebook group, that sounds really cool. So,
yeah.
All right. Happy Mother's Day to everybody that was watching. Thank you, Gina from AfricanAncestry.com. Don't forget, use the code Bernetta, get 10% off plus 2 additional certificates. And hopefully, and if you come out to be Fulani from Guinea-Bissau, holler at your cousin. And that's it. Thank you, Gina.
You're welcome. Thank you. Take care.
All right. You take care, too. Bye, everybody.